Tubby Hayes, surely one of the most influential and dominating personalities on the British jazz scene. One could talk for the rest of the programme about Tubby's talents and achievements, but I don't propose to do that. We'll let the music do that.
Tubby Hayes started everything earlier than most people. He burned the candle at both ends and then started on the middle.
The guy was a prodigy. You know, he was a great player when he was 14, 15 years old. At 16, he was doing gigs.
Although he was young, he was always like way ahead of himself. He was like this boy wonder.
He had the best technique and fluency on the tenor saxophone of anybody around.
He just could play almost anything, breakneck speed or absolute slow motion, and it was always individual.
Here was an English player who could really stand on a bandstand with anybody.
If I walk down Dean Street or I walk down Archer Street, Tubby is the soundtrack going through my head.
It wasn't American, it wasn't West Coast, it wasn't East Coast, it was London.
He was the only Briton that could take on the Americans on their own terms. I think when he went to New York, he was looking for that kind of 13th note, if you like, and he found it. And unfortunately for him, and unfortunately for the British jazz scene, it was heroin.
I mean, he was drinking hard and doing drugs and just living too fast.
I think one of the real sadnesses about that generation of British players is that they fell for that mythology of drugs and jazz.
Sometimes he was so out of it, he would throw up and then gobble back up his vomit.
That self-destructive side becomes so powerful that it's unstoppable.
His addiction was massive.
It's just a tragedy that he had to go the way he did so early.
And he's dead at the age of 38. And there's this enormous gap opens up in British jazz, and it's a gap that has never sealed over.
60s swinging London, he should be an icon of that scene. He is one of the icons. He's like the Michael Caine of jazz.
We've got here one of the giants of jazz, and we should celebrate that.
Tubby Hayes, A Man in a Hurry, a film by Mark Baxter and Lee Cogswell, available at amaninahurry.london.